Imagine you're standing in line at an In-N-Out Burger in Baldwin Park, California, the birthplace of the West Coast's most iconic chain. Everything feels quintessentially Californian. Perfect even. But here's what you don't see. The corporate headquarters that just packed up and left for Tennessee. The distribution centers quietly relocating to Texas. The expansion plans that now conspicuously avoid the Golden State entirely. Welcome to the Great California Exodus, where even a company that literally built its identity on being California's burger is running for the exits. When In-N-Out starts planning its escape route, you know something is fundamentally broken. Here's the brutal truth. California's $3.9 trillion economy is hemorrhaging businesses at a rate not seen in generations. Tesla, Oracle, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, and now quietly, strategically, In-N-Out Burger. The state that invented the American dream is watching it drive away in a U-Haul. Today, we're dissecting how the world's fifth largest economy turned into a case study in economic suicide. How a state with perfect weather, top universities, and tech capital managed to make businesses prefer Tennessee. And why In-N-Out's silent exit is the canary in the coal mine nobody's watching. If you want to understand how bad things have gotten, look at what In-N-Out is doing when nobody's watching. In May 2024, In-N-Out opened a massive corporate office in Franklin, Tennessee, employing hundreds in finance, legal, and administrative roles. Not a satellite office, a full-scale headquarters capable of running the entire Eastern operation without ever touching California. The company insists they're expanding, not relocating. But when you build a second corporate brain 2,000 miles away, you're not expanding. You're building an exit strategy. The math tells the real story. California's fast food minimum wage hit $20 per hour in April 2024. Tennessee's, $7.25. That's a 176% labor cost gap before benefits and regulatory compliance. For a company like In-N-Out that prides itself on treating workers well, California just made profitability a nightmare. But wages are just the visible tip. California has over 395,000 regulatory restrictions, more than any state. Want to build a restaurant? That's 18 to 24 months of permitting hell and six-figure fees before you pour foundation. Tennessee, 4 to 6 months, minimal fees, and officials who actually want your business. The distribution strategy reveals the real plan. In-N-Out has systematically built distribution centers in Colorado, Texas, and Tennessee, creating infrastructure to expand eastward without ever needing California again. The company born in California 75 years ago now treats it like a legacy market to be managed, not a growth engine to be fed. And here's the kicker. In-N-Out's billionaire owner, Lindsay Snyder, has publicly criticized California's COVID restrictions, vaccine mandates, and regulatory overreach. When your most loyal company starts complaining out loud, you've lost the plot entirely. California has the highest state income tax in America at 13.3% for top earners. 13.3% before federal taxes, before payroll taxes, before everything else. A successful business owner can face combined tax rates exceeding 50%. Texas, zero state income tax. Tennessee, zero. Florida, zero. The math is so brutal it's almost comedic. California's corporate tax hits 8.84%, plus an $800 annual franchise tax every corporation must pay, even if they lose money. Tennessee's corporate rate, 6.5%, and being phased out entirely. By 2025, Tennessee will have zero corporate income tax. Commercial real estate completes the nightmare. Average LA commercial space runs $3.83 per square foot monthly. Orange County is $2.61. Nashville, $1.75. For a 50,000 square foot building, that's $636,000 more annually just for rent in California. Energy costs seal the deal. California's commercial electricity averages $0.195 per kilowatt hour, highest in the continental U.S. Tennessee, $0.106 per kilowatt hour. For restaurants running massive refrigeration and HVAC 24/7, that's millions in annual savings by operating elsewhere. Here's the dark comedy. California politicians genuinely believe businesses will stay for the weather and quote, to the tree. as if sunshine compensates for 50% tax rates. Meanwhile, Tennessee literally recruits California businesses with 15-year property tax abatements, job creation credits, and red carpet treatment. California's response? Propose new taxes. And here's where the trap snaps shut. California can't fix this without imploding its budget. The state relies on its top 1% of earners for nearly 50% of income tax revenue. When they leave, and they are leaving at record rates, the budget collapses. So California raises taxes higher on whoever remains, accelerating the exodus, requiring more increases. It's a death spiral disguised as tax policy. Quick pause. If you're finding this descent into California's economic suicide compelling, smash that subscribe button. Would you rather have perfect weather with crushing taxes or mediocre weather with economic freedom? Let me know in the comments. We're just getting started. In-N-Out's Tennessee strategy isn't an outlier. It's the template. Let's run through the body count from just the last 4 years. Tesla moved headquarters from Palo Alto to Austin, December 2021. Elon Musk didn't just move the company. Billions in future investment and thousands of engineering jobs followed. Oracle relocated from Redwood City to Austin, December 2020. One of Silicon Valley's foundational companies, $50 billion annual revenue, just left. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise moved from San Jose to Houston, December 2020. The successor to HP, the company founded in a Palo Alto garage in 1939, that literally defined Silicon Valley. Even they couldn't justify staying. Charles Schwab left San Francisco for Texas, 2020 to 2021. Founded in San Francisco in 1971, managing $8.1 trillion in assets. Now based in Texas, the pattern continues. Palantir, Denver, CBRE, Dallas, Caterpillar, Texas. These aren't struggling companies. These are highly successful enterprises with options, choosing to leave despite massive disruption costs. But here's what's more concerning: the silent investment freeze. Companies that stay but shift all new investment elsewhere. Apple's massive new facilities, Austin and North Carolina, Google's expansion, other states, Amazon's fastest growing hubs, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia. California keeps legacy headquarters for optics, but loses all actual growth. The high-paying jobs, tax-generating expansions, future wealth creation happening elsewhere. California is becoming a corporate museum where companies maintain historical artifacts while building their futures somewhere else. Sound familiar? Since 2019, California lost over 77,000 small businesses net. A 2024 survey found 67% of small business owners would not start their business in California again. 2/3 of existing owners, given a second chance, would choose anywhere else. The venture capital shift tells the final story. In 2019, California captured 50% of U.S. venture capital, $70 billion of $140 billion total. By 2024, down to 42%. Texas jumped from 4% to 9%. The future is being funded elsewhere because investors read the same spreadsheets. California is too expensive, too hostile, too uncertain. California's median home price hit $833,000 in late 2024. To afford that under standard lending rules, you need $250,000 annual household income. The actual median income, $91,000. The math simply does not work. The result, middle-class flight. Between 2020 and 2023, California lost over 500,000 residents net. First population decline since statehood in 1850. These aren't homeless or ultra-rich leaving. They're families with kids, skilled tradespeople, nurses, teachers, engineers. The exact demographics you need to sustain society. A 2023 survey found 47% of Californians seriously considering leaving, nearly half the population actively planning exit strategies. Where are they going? Texas gained 470,000 residents. Florida gained 420,000. Tennessee, Arizona, Nevada, Idaho, all experiencing massive California refugee influxes. They're looking for lower costs, functional housing, business-friendly policies, everything California isn't. The brain drain accelerates. California universities produce world-class talent, and 38% of recent graduates leave within 2 years, up from 23% in 2015. You cannot sustain a knowledge economy when educated people immediately leave to build careers elsewhere. When the middle class leaves, you lose people who coach Little League, volunteer, create community stability. What replaces them? Tech millionaires in gated communities and service workers living four to an apartment. Los Angeles has 75,000 homeless individuals, despite spending $24 billion annually on programs. The underlying economics are so broken, no spending can fix it. California has become a gerontocracy of asset holders, extracting rent from shrinking working populations. If you bought a Palo Alto house in 1990, you're a multimillionaire. Young families trying to start lives? Utterly locked out. This isn't capitalism. It's feudalism with tech bros. Future A, the Renaissance. California wakes up, implements reforms, streamlines regulations, moderates taxes, builds housing aggressively. Businesses stop leaving because the math shifts. Middle-class families afford homes. Companies expand California operations instead of building Tennessee alternatives. California leverages natural advantages, universities, capital, weather, culture, to remain America's innovation hub. This could exist. The pieces are there. But it requires admitting the current model is failing and making changes that anger public unions, progressive activists, and NIMBY homeowners. Given California's politics, this sits between quote 4 and quote 5 future B, the great sorting. California doubles down on current policies while businesses and families leave at accelerating rates. The state becomes ultra-wealthy coastal enclaves surrounded by struggling communities. The middle class becomes historical memory. Companies like In-N-Out maintain minimal California presence for heritage while systematically shifting operations elsewhere. The tax base narrows as high earners leave, forcing higher taxes on whoever remains, accelerating exodus. California's GDP share declines from 14% toward 10%, then lower. California doesn't collapse. It becomes Illinois with better weather. Still significant historically, but no longer prosperity's engine. A place where politicians blame everyone but themselves, where beautiful beaches coexist with profound dysfunction, where the American dream is something people move away to find. This is where we're headed. In-N-Out's Tennessee headquarters, Tesla's Austin migration, Oracle's exodus. These aren't anomalies. They're early indicators of massive American economic reordering. The universal lesson: prosperity requires constant maintenance through competitive policy choices. When your government makes your jurisdiction uncompetitive while alternatives exist, people leave. It's not complicated. It's basic economics. California's leaders can keep insisting nobody's really leaving. Meanwhile, In-N-Out, the most California company imaginable, is building infrastructure to succeed without California. The companies are speaking. The migration data is speaking. The only question is whether anyone's listening. If this opened your eyes to what's actually happening, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to understand why their favorite companies keep leaving. The truth matters, even when it's uncomfortable. Thanks for watching. See you in the comments.